Now we're live. This
is great.
Yeah, you don't even notice that it's live, but we're live, man. All right.
Live like to the web. This
is what's going to be broadcasted
what's going to be.
from here on out.
Man, that was so quick.
I know.
Just did a clap and it was like
It's already going to outer space and back, and the whole World Wide Web is seeing it right now. How was your week, dude? I had a shit week. I'll just be honest.
Mine was fine.
Yeah?
What was so yours?
First and foremost, I came back from the camping trip. I went camping with my best friends, the ones that we watched the Canelo fight. Remember? Yeah. So all three of us went up. Yeah, it was all four of us, actually. We all went up. And we did a bunch of hooligan shit up there.
Where were you guys?
We were like probably 30, 40 minutes away from Pikes Peak, Florissant, Colorado.
Is it not cold as
It was cold. It was pretty cold. Like, not gonna lie. Like, when we got there, all the metal surfaces, like if you left your bare hand on them, it would start to stick to the metal. That's how cold it was. I was like, oh. But no, yeah, it was just like we got there Friday night at 9, and then we didn't go to bed till 4 a.m. the day that we got there. The next day, same thing. Didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. And then Sunday we had to leave like by 10. We left like around noon. And then I just had to do a bunch of errands, and like I didn't get any homework done. So I was like super behind all week. But it was super fun.
It was kind of a similar thing with me. Like,
yeah. Because you guys went up to PLP, right?
Yeah. Or like the YMCA at the Rockies. It puts you behind.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, when I came back, like especially on Monday, I was like, dude, this feels good. Like, I feel so relaxed. But then Tuesday comes around, you're like, oh, I'm hella behind.
Moving.
Mm-hmm. And then not only that, I've been having problems with my computer, passport stuff. So it was just like, this was the week that it all came down for sure.
Yeah.
I know it's coming up with fucking midterms. How are you feeling for those?
I don't really have any like at the time that midterms are. All of mine are this week or some undetermined.
Are they papers or are they actually tests?
One of mine's a paper. One of mine's like an in-class paper, and I haven't written one of those in forever. It's gonna take me back to high school. I've never heard of that. It's like where a timed essay essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just like the ACT type shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's for media ethics, and that's the only one I gotta worry about.
See, that's one thing that I probably need to do more of.
Media ethics?
Media ethics.
You acting unethically?
I don't think so, but I think it'd just be good to know.
You seem pretty ethical.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Nothing stood out to you so far?
No. I swear this is like so professional. The fact that, how much of this have you learned in a classroom setting?
None.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
None.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, and I was looking back at, because again, with that problem with the computer, basically my whole hard drive got erased. And I had to do like this crazy, weird recovery system. And I was looking back at all the files that I've done, like audio files, video files, and everything. And it's all been in the last 4 months. And I'm like, holy shit. Every week I have one guest come in. And that's at least 1 hour of training, 1 hour of training for 3 months.
Yeah.
4 times every month. So what is that? 4 times 4? That's 4.
4 times 4? What? Is that 16?
16 hours.
Shit.
I'm like, holy shit,
There's a reason I'm a journalism major.
Yeah, no, me too. I actually have a test tomorrow at 9.
Is this
in the morning?
Chem?
No, this is calculus.
Calculus. That's
calculus
what it was.
1.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I haven't done the study guide, but I'm feeling pretty good. Not too shabby.
Just based on your own,
well,
inner knowledge.
I did half of the study guide so far. I didn't finish it. And most of it was pretty easy. I'm not going to lie.
It's just Calc 1.
Dude, I was talking to this one girl in my class, and I was like, I have this strange feeling that I'm attracted to calculus now. I have this weird attraction to it now. I'm like, I need to keep going. Calculus 2, calculus 3, calculus. I want to see how far I get with the calculus until I'm like done with college.
I think there's something to that. There's definitely an appeal to math.
Yeah, because then I think the biggest thing is like this euphoric high. Once you solve the problem, you're like, oh, I finished it.
That's what I used to like about it so much in high school is like, even if I didn't necessarily know how to approach it, I would just like move stuff around.
Yeah,
I figured it out.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, it was kind of like just problem solving on the fly.
And I think the professor likes me too. So shout out to her. She's pretty cool. Now that like a lot of people don't like her because of how fast she moves.
Is this the same one?
The same one. Now I fuck.
It's a true like
full circle. Arc. Yeah. We're homies now. I send her emails almost every day. No, I'm just fine. Just check up on her. How about you? So this week is midterm week, technically?
Yeah, but again, I have this one, like all in terms of finals or midterms or stuff like that. I'm mostly in journalism classes, so I'm like producing video and like.
Oh, you're still producing video? Do you feel more confident with Premiere Pro?
Definitely. I'm learning so much. Like,
yeah.
I think if you can get in class with Kareem, you should. Because it would, I mean.
They didn't let me in, bro.
They should. There's always a way to get around.
I know. Now that
you can get in.
And I don't know if I should say this, but Carlos is my boy. That's my dog.
Dude, he is so cool.
That's my dog, bro.
Yeah, he's so fun.
He's opened so many opportunities after I've like started this position that I'm so surprised. Like I can only be thankful for you and for him. To be honest, like if you wouldn't have sent me that email to Kareem and I wouldn't have reached out, I probably wouldn't have been to where I am. Like I'm being dead serious.
I'm in the same spot. Like it's like I feel like once I came back, I just flipped the switch and just wanted to engage so much more. And I of course wanted everybody to be a part of that. So I appreciate it, but it's like it's I'm in the same spot. I love
it changes right now. So quick. Yeah. No, for sure. So you have Kareem right now?
Yeah.
And what class is that? The media ethics or?
Nah, that's with Lynn Schofield Clark. Media ethics is. Kareem's is advanced multimedia journalism, which is like
so that the exact class that you're talking to me about.
Less theory, more just on the ground.
Just doing it.
Which is why it's like, I mean, you have so much experience, and that's what I've learned is like way more important than just talking about the stuff. Yeah, you just got to do it. Over and over, and like keep out your mind on what can be better, I guess. But, yeah.
But again, since I've done this with Carlos, he's always saying like, you started good. Like there's a lot of stuff that you're doing that's good, but now start looking at others. Start getting inspiration from other people that are doing, like they obviously have a higher production value. They have more time to do it. But if you just kind of emulate them or kind of try and replicate what they're doing as best as you can in your own form, you're gonna get pretty damn close. And that's really the big inspiration from this whole thing was just the YMH Studios. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's just like a bunch of comedians, talk show, whatever.
What are you trying to replicate?
Just having a good time. That's really what it is. And then not only that, where my mom was telling me the other day that she loves to see that she actually gets to know the guests that come on. Because if I wouldn't have invited them here and I would have told them about them, my mom wouldn't have listened to it. She was like, oh, that's cool that you have friends, But now she can actually see him and other people can actually see him and be like, oh, damn, that he knows a lot of people. And now I'm like on campus, I'm like, oh, damn, I know like a grip of people on campus that I hope to get them on, the podcast, but scheduling, man.
That's the difficult part.
You are the problem, man. I wanted to bring that up.
I'm here, aren't I?
Yes, you are here.
I pulled through last minute. You gotta give me credit for that. I just was busy. Okay. I'm sorry.
And you'll find this out as well. And you probably found this out already with the Clarion and stuff. When you try to get people to interview and stuff.
Yeah, it's difficult.
You're at like this frequency, and everyone else is like at this frequency.
You mean like where you're trying to go?
Yeah, you're just like, hey, can I get can I get a response? Can I get a response? At least a response, and I'll be fine.
I'm so annoying over text.
Me too.
Push it.
I'm like, hey, you know what? I give them 2 days. 48 hours. Hey, you know what? Just reaching out again. Wanted to see how you're doing. Da, 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 da. Can I get a response at least?
Yeah.
If not, then honestly, but that's the biggest challenge, I think, if anyone wants to get into this type of work or even, industry, journalism,
and
whatever.
I think reputation will eventually play a part of it. Like once you're, I mean, like my professors won the is coming to mind right now is super reputable in the journalism world, and people are at his beck and call. Like they're they want to be close to him, and so he can he's not dealing with that like constantly trying to do the groundwork and stuff.
But that's where we are, honestly. We're at the beck and call of everyone, which, I mean, it's fine. This is what we're here for, right? We're here to see where all this do.
Yeah. And it's going to be confidence building. Like, I don't know about like how to compare it to the podcast, but for just going out in the field, like not being so doe-eyed. Like,
what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
Like, we were with my class, we were at Urban Peak.
Okay.
They had this unveiling of this mothership project that they're working on. It's a new housing project for low income people, and we were there to cover it, and it was just so difficult just having the confidence to be there like with a camera and of course like it's meant for that. Like I don't know. It's
so
just,
now you see why I did the syrup and all that stuff, because that really is like the like the scab that kind of set all this place. Because now the cameras are indifferent to me. I don't even mind that they're there, to be honest, and I can bring it out in front of campus. And well, I don't know if you saw, but I was interviewing Olivia in the middle of this week. Did you see it? She posted on her story.
I heard about it. I don't.
So now I'm gonna start doing, in the middle of the bridge, I'm gonna start doing interviews, because people love to just like, oh, what is this? That's cool. Is this a podcast? Dang, that's tight. Da, 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 da.
So is that part of Handro's?
No, this is part of it's part of the independent study, which they don't know about. I haven't
revealed.
I haven't revealed.
Is that something you're not wanting to reveal?
I'm probably gonna just leave this teaser in, but there's definitely it's a lot of work that I'm gonna be putting in that I just don't want to. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make it just yet, so I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, fair.
It's just the big project that I have going on. But no, Syrup has definitely helped me, because you remember I was looking at that footage too when I had that big camera that I'd rent from the AAC.
Yeah.
And I would be filming you guys and just seeing how it works. But no, that definitely just making the scabs, like the calluses of doing all that. Yeah. Hella helps.
Do you know Peter?
Peter.
Photo editor.
Peter Vo.
Yes.
Dude, he's
I don't know if it's Vo or Vu. I've heard it said the same way. I mean, both ways.
I've heard he's made a couple podcasts as well for Rocky Mountain Reverb.
Yeah.
I really want to just like, cause since I know I've edited his stuff, or I've uploaded all of his stuff, and he doesn't know who I am, but I know exactly who he is. I'm like, yo, have you seen some of his personal projects as well?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I like took a nosedive down his YouTube channel.
Yes, I
so
did that.
Cool.
It's
He's so
super
talented.
awesome. Yeah. He has such a good eye for how to frame the shots, I think. Which is really cool.
But one thing he told me, just in reference to the scab stuff, is like, I basically asked him how to get comfortable behind a camera, and like not care that people were giving you weird looks and stuff like that. And he was like, he told me when he got over that, and it was when he went to New York, into the meanest place in the world, and just took street photography.
Yeah.
And people were like running up to him, asking him for money. Like they just were so mean about it. And it's like, you're in a public place, so he's like, he technically has the legal right, but the social was just so against him.
Yeah.
So doing something like that, just full immersion,
probably
what I got.
You know what I think is the worst though? It's not even like random people that because random people you're never gonna see again, but it's when you first reveal it to your friends.
That's true. Yeah.
You first reveal it to your friends, they're like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
that was the Seattle trip.
Yeah, and that was everyone like, yeah. Everyone was like, "Why are you filming the us getting into the gate?"
Everybody loves that video,
and now everyone loves the video. And I'm so like, funny. Dude, this is why I do it. But you're gonna have to go through that. They have to go through the judgment of like
the spring break.
I'll
just carry a camera around.
And it died midway.
Yeah,
and I almost lost it that trip too. I almost left it in Ethan's car.
It was in Jacob's car.
In Ethan's car, actually.
Ethan's.
Mm-hmm. If not, well, I still have it. Thankfully, I still have it. But hopefully that footage doesn't get lost. Hopefully, I'm really hopeful for that recovery app. But we have 15 minutes. Let's do our intro. I'm gonna put a song. Let me know what you think of this song.
I can't hear you if you're not the mic.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another special episode, another special guest, a good friend of mine. And I think he's really that person that you have those friends that you know you can go a long time without and you can kind of do your own thing, but then every time you come back, it's like you never left the day before and you just kind of smooth transition. This is my boy Aubrey Cox. He's from
Cheers.
the same state that
The baby.
the baby's from.
Yes.
So he was actually my first
Same city.
one of my first roommates here in college. He didn't live with me, thank God,
I would say we lived together.
but not in the same room.
Yeah, not roommates.
We weren't roommates, but we were suite mates.
Why, thank God.
Because all right,
Would I
all
have
right,
been that bad? I feel like I was okay.
motherfucker, you leave the room dirty as fuck.
Not anymore.
But
should
that
see my
year,
room
that
right
year,
now.
that year, you and Jacob went ham. The amount of trash that you guys left for each break, it was a moving
like-
box full
I
of
feel
trash, dog.
That's the trash box is Jacob. Trash box is Jacob.
Trash box is majority
I do
Jacob,
have a
but
problem with like throwing my clothes on the ground, but
and
trash box
okay,
is
that would
definitely
be the biggest problem, I think. But we lived in the same vicinity for a year, and then we decided to continue that, and then extend it on to 2 more people, for 6 people in a suite for our second year. And for all you DU heads, we were in Towers, and then we moved to Nelson. Since we got a lot of DU listeners now, shout out to y'all. Yeah, my boy, he is probably one of the first people that I saw that actually read a lot after he graduated high school. Because the books that you brought to the dorm room, dude, you filled the whole shelf.
That's another problem I have.
Like,
Is like just bringing all of the books that I want, and it's not. Like,
do you read all of the books? Because that's what was one question that I always had. I was like, how does he find time to read all of these damn books that I've never even heard of,
I would say that
never even seen?
of the ones that I had up, I'd read probably a third, maybe a half.
That's still a lot of books.
But that's
to
the
me,
thing
compared
is,
to
it's
me,
not
dude.
like
Like for me, just put it in perspective. For me, I would probably read a book, maybe 2 a year, in a whole 12 months. How long would it take you to finish a book?
Well, that's the thing. See, like when I read in like bursts. So I'll have like a gap of time, and I'll read like 3 or 4.
In that gap of time.
Yeah. And depending on, I mean, sometimes like out of COVID, I
Yeah,
wish
that's
I
true.
read like I was reading during COVID, because I was reading so much. I was probably finishing like a book a week, maybe.
Jeez.
And then I was also
And
I
is
was
it-
reading like multiple
and is it mainly
at a time
like
and stuff.
classical literature? Because I still have that Joan Didion book that you
Actually,
gave me.
I need that back.
Yeah, I got it for you.
That was that's like my treasure.
Dude,
I still think about that.
and you have so many notes in it. I'm like, damn, he brought up a good point. I never would have thought of that. Hell yeah, bro.
That's good. 'Cause
I love when people write notes, because it helps me, since I'm not like a big. I focus on the words and I focus what they're saying, but I don't think outside of what the message is saying. And it helps when someone has like these little side notes, that
that was all IB literature. Miss Osborne, shout out.
shout out. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You
Three-level
had those
annotations.
teachers where you're like, bruh, they actually inspire me to do
Yeah,
all
Miss
this shit.
Osborne was, I mean, she is probably the one who launched all of that, along with Mr. Whiteside. Shout out Eric. He was like my TOK teacher, and both of them gave me like the people that I have continued to kind of admire. A lot of like postmodern authors, like during COVID, when class ended, me and a group of students, along with Mr. Whiteside, like we kept going to his classes, like
but
during
even
the Zoom
after,
era.
yeah.
And then we kind of got to talking. I was always like interested in this guy David Foster Wallace that my teacher was a huge fan of. So me and a group of students took on this massive book called Infinite Jest, and it's like one of the greatest achievements reading that I've ever made. Because it was like, it's a tome. But yeah, it launched me down, and then like Miss Osborne came in with like Didion, Morrison, and those are probably like my two idols literature wise. Like I've just always, I mean, journalism too. Didion is like, part of the reason I need that book back is because she's so relevant to like the phrasing that I'm trying to inhibit in my writing right now. Yeah. And I'm trying to read one of her inspirations right now, James Joyce, who she like talked about how she would sit down. Like
James Joyce. I feel like I've heard of that before.
He wrote Ulysses as well as
yes. Okay, yeah. He was kind of, he did free speech, right?
Like, I think he was
free right.
North Ireland, maybe North Ireland.
But he wrote in this manner that it was very free think, free write. It was like that other writer. And I read a book. Faulkner. He was in that same category.
I mean, I haven't read much Faulkner, but it seems like Joyce is a little more contained than Faulkner. Faulkner would have like sentences that would go on forever.
Dude, it was wild. I took a quarter here in at the U with and I really recommend them if you want to get into like heavy literature. I definitely recommend Billy Bratton, I think is his professor's name.
Okay.
In the English department. Dude, he will like literally break it down section by section, and we'll as a class go through and like, what do you think the author meant by this? And I don't know if you remember, there was one point when we were living in Nelson that I was like, oh, let's do a deep dive and analysis on one of your books. And then I read like a page or two, and then we like sat down. I don't know if you remember that.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, but I picked up one of your books and I was like, wow, so what do you think about this? And we were like, I don't know, I remember it, but you're like, oh, this is a fucking Tuesday.
My memory is notoriously bad.
Yeah, no, mine too. Mine too, Doug. But no, that if you really want to take like an elective, I'd recommend Billy for sure. Okay. I think I'm gonna get you his name for sure, because he does one about Native American literature, and the one that I did was Southern Gothic fiction. Southern Gothic literature.
What did you read?
We read one of Faulkner. We read there was this other one. It was in the point of a view of a young girl like coming of age. And I have the books all there, but I don't remember them. I remember the plot. But one of them, Faulkner, was where they were seeing in the perspective of someone with disabilities. The one with the girl, they were seeing that she fell in love with the brother and they wanted to run away. Some southern some real southern and then she ended up becoming what did she end up doing? I think she just ran away from home and really despised her family name. But it was, I mean, I fucked with it. Especially when you have a group of people that are actually reading the books.
Yeah.
That kind of encourages you. Because I found, especially in the communication department, hardly anyone does the readings, dog. And it's like super boring.
That's the thing that I think kills a class.
Exactly.
Most of all, is just when, and partially sometimes it's the professor's fault and like the readings aren't engaging to begin with. But sometimes you just got to do the legwork to like
exactly.
get there. I myself am to blame. Like sometimes it'll just be, I don't know, too late or I don't know, something. But doing the readings is so important, and we don't realize it. But
yeah, because I had this one about rhetoricians, like classical rhetoricians, Aristotle and Plato and all that. Whole class was like, no, like there was only two people that did the readings. You and your brother made me realize something that I never would have thought of, right? So your little brother, fucking Palmer,
yep,
made me realize how much of a luxury it is to be a younger brother. Now you're the older brother, and you have to deal with the brunt of a lot of different shit. Especially when we were living in the dorms, and I won't say exactly what, but we all know that story.
No, we don't need to get.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. But geez, Louise, man, do you ever? Because you are the oldest of everyone, right?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Do you ever feel like you want to be the youngest sometimes?
No, I don't think I've ever
No?
had a desire to be. I mean, I always I use the lines that you're supposed to use, like, oh, like middle child always gets away with everything, youngest, pampered, whatnot. But I don't think I ever actually. I'm pretty set with what I am, where I'm at.
So is it because you get so much freedom out of everyone else?
I don't even know if I necessarily. I mean, they would of course argue the opposite, but I don't think I had. I think I was probably more restricted, at least in high school.
You think because everyone had a watchful and careful eye on you?
Yeah. And then it was always that way. I don't know.
Because every time, like, especially when he was over here and you were in South Africa, I was like, damn, this guy is wild, man. Like, if he was my brother, and even when he's not, like, even now, I still worry about the guy, because I've kind of formed my own different relationship with the guy. I don't know, because he seems to look up to me in a sense.
He definitely does.
But I seem to worry about him. Like, there's days where I'm like, oh, I wonder how Palmer's doing. Let me just send him a text quick, And I've never had that experience because I'm the youngest, right? It's just me and my brother. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of this weird, special, kind of weird thing that happened between me and your little brother. I was like, what the hell? This is kind of weird, dog.
What weird special thing happened?
I don't know, not in that sense, but it's just like I've never had that gravitation towards someone else's little brother to see them as my own, little brother.
I mean, he looks up to you. Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's what I think that's what it is, right? Because I've never had someone that especially that's younger than me that say like, hey, you know what? You're the example, or you're doing good, or whatever. So I was like, oh crap!
I mean,
I must be doing something right then.
Stuff you said to him, I can remember like specific times where he told me, I mean, he I don't want to like talk too much about Palmer's business, but he just like what you said about putting your nose to the grindstone and just like getting stuff done, because I think it was something like you have to gain the perspective that like everybody's grinding. Everybody's that just like hit home with them. I remember
you're not special.
Specifically on the trip that we won't talk about.
Yeah.
But, he definitely took that to heart.
No, and the last time I saw him, he looked a little bit better, but then, I mean,
he's fun. He's good. Like he's a really good kid. And it's nice having him here. Like,
oh yeah, I bet
it was so fun. He came to town, and we just like hung out for a bit.
Yeah,
and it's just like, of course, it's wild and crazy, but it's also like fun.
So then now, how is it back being in? Because you when you got back from South Africa, you went directly back to NC, to North Carolina.
Yes.
How was it being back home? It was
a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was really nice to just like chill and just have.
But you were doing a whole 3 months of chilling, dog.
In a different way. It was still like dealing with the whole like, I mean, you're gonna experience it too probably. Oh, yeah. But like it's just always work. Having to deal with like just the social differences and stuff. And like you are a bit like it takes a while to get comfortable, and so being back in a place where I already was comfortable was like with the real relaxation.
But I don't know if that's the same. Well, because they don't know. You went to South Africa to go study where? What was the university called?
Nelson Mandela University.
Nelson Mandela University, and how many classes did you take out there?
They did credits all weird. I think I took like 4 or 5.
5 classes, but how many credits?
I don't know how many credits. Probably the equivalent of 16 or something.
Is it because they do like 14. 5 or 6?
But it's like, to me, and this is terrible, but the classes were like much less rigorous, all online. So
Yeah,
to me, it
and,
was
and
like,
that's the consensus that I hear about all the students that either went to Spain, that went to UK, all abroad. They said, "Oh, now that I'm back, this is difficult." You
yeah.
know?
And yeah, I think that's, I mean, me and Vincent were talking about that. That's a bit how it should be, I
Yeah.
think. Because in the, like, even though I wasn't taking that rigorous of stuff, I was still learning in a lot of like really interesting ways and like traveling a ton and experiencing the place that I was in, which I really appreciated. But you are as well, like, since they were all online, I was
Oh, they
losing
were
a
all
lot
online.
of, yeah. So I lost a lot of like the
What?
student experience, which I do regret a bit. So, but so
And
like,
and why
it's
is
always a
why
trade-off.
why
but
was that it's online? Is it still because
it was COVID.
COVID's still a big issue out there?
Yeah. I mean, my uneducated take on it, just from like what I could tell, is that they were at the end of their year, so the semesters switched because of the equator, and they were at the like what we would consider the third and fourth quarter semesters, but
Yeah.
they hadn't like initiated it going back in person
Just yet.
well, they did
Well,
for
at
STEM,
all.
but not for like the more, my classes.
Yeah.
Not
That's what we
STEM.
call the silly little art majors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was all online because people were like, "That they'll be fine."
Yeah. Yeah. So you had gone the whole time online, and then what did a normal class day look like? Was it like 3-4 days out of the week go to classes, or is it like 4 heavy days and then?
I probably went to classes a good amount. A lot of the time, because it was online, it was like pretty useless.
Where
to
did
go
you
to class.
study? Did you study on a university campus?
No,
or
we
what?
were in. I mean, we were like really close to campus, probably a mile out from campus, at a like student apartment building.
Oh, okay.
It was on the strip right along the beachfront. It was pretty cool.
Dang.
Yeah, it was nice.
I was trying to look for the pictures because you're my token now to say, I had a friend that went to South Africa. Damn. And you know how you send me pictures of like rhinos and the beach and everything? I lost them. I don't know where they're at. You should send them to me
WhatsApp,
again.
probably.
Yeah, well, that's where I looked, and they're not there.
Okay, I'll send them.
But no,
Or
yeah,
I may have shared
you know
a
who I was
couple
talking to the other day? A Dayway was in interterm course over there in South Africa as
No
well.
way.
Yeah, but
Where
she
was
did a
she?
lot of more excursions. She's,
Do you know where? In South Africa?
I'm gonna say no.
Or was it definitely South Africa? Because I know there was an
Yeah, no, it's
interterm in
definitely South
Tanzania
Africa
as well.
because you were in Port Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling her. I was telling her I think he was in Port Elizabeth, but she only stayed there for 10 days. So it was during winter break that she went. She didn't go during the actual term.
Gotcha.
So that was when you were probably back already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend who did a friend from South Africa who then went on to do an interterm in Tanzania.
Ah, okay, yeah. I knew someone too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seemed cool. That
Right?
seemed really, really cool.
Right? Yeah, she was
I want
telling
to
me.
do one of the interterms at
And,
some point if I
and
can.
the girl that I talked to that did the Tanzania thing, she said it was not rigorous at all, but it was like 9 days of always doing something. Like you were just moving, doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I heard the same. It's like, I think they did a lot of like just safari and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one of the crazy stories that my friend was telling me was that they like went and met this Aboriginal tribe and like hunted with them. That was crazy. Like that would be such a cool experience. But he was just learning the whole time.
That's tight.
Not in a very academic way, but more in the way we've been talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So do you still have plans after? Because are you gonna planning on graduating early? I really don't know with all.
I think I will probably have the option to. I'm trying to get get a minor in ethnomusicology. So depending on how that works out, maybe. Not sure.
You may.
Yeah.
So when would that be? Fall of next year?
I can't plan that far ahead. I probably fall.
So you finish
Probably winter.
this quarter,
fall or winter.
finish the next quarter.
I mean, in
and
my
then-
major, I have like very few credits left.
Me too.
I think I have like the internship and that's it. Like an internship and maybe one elective. So, I mean, I could
not
probably
much.
get out of here
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
But I'd also want to like, I really want to get a degree. I mean, a minor.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I was always confused with it, but do you even need a minor to graduate?
think you need one.
Right?
I think you need one.
That's what I was confused about. Yeah, but again, I'll worry about that once it comes to my last quarter. But you still have plans to go to Boston after you graduate?
That's definitely one that's like probably top on my list.
Yeah. So as soon as,
Boston, I mean Seattle.
so you love Seattle, huh?
I mean, I've heard such bad things about Seattle. What does that mean? What is it?
That's
Like surfing? They don't have that in Seattle.
That's the hipster call right there. They're making the call to you.
They got coffee and
They're sending you the
books and
bat signal
stuff.
all the way from over
It
there.
rains all the time. I could just stay inside or something.
Dude, but I want to go back to National
Yeah, it's
Olympic.
cool.
Dude.
And they have such good trees, you know.
Such good trees.
No, like actual trees. They're
No, yeah, I feel
the
you.
arbor is quite
I
enjoyable.
feel you. Yeah. Them trees be nice. They be nice. I did like Seattle. We just didn't spend too much time.
Whirlwind of a day.
I was lost and I was stinky and I was looking for my friends that day.
When were you lost?
In Pike's Market or
That wasn't that. You weren't that low. You were buying a belt buckle. That's why you were lost.
Yeah.
It was a pretty sick belt buckle.
It's a dope ass belt buckle, but I wanted to see that gum wall.
No, it was just kind of gross.
I wanted
It's
to
like-
lick it, bro.
Yeah.
Take back some immunity with me.
That's what you think it would do.
I'd be a superhero.
Yeah, that was probably not my favorite of the sites in Seattle.
Because what else did we do in Seattle? We just went to Pike's Place and then...
We went to, I mean, we didn't go to the Space Needle, but we saw the Space Needle. We went to like that park, you know?
Oh, that's right, the Gasworks.
Yeah,
and then we went to your publisher. Remember that guy that was outside and he was like...
Yeah,
He was like doing jokes and stuff, and then
he was
some
trying to
crackhead...
freestyle.
And then
like,
some crackhead came by and then she was... I don't know if it was a he or she, but there was some crackhead.
I thought it was like two.
Yeah,
two just
and he's like,
started to
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And he just tried screaming at him. I was like, oh, shit. This just turned livid. You know?
But
Yeah.
he played it well. He was just
Oh, yeah. And then he
"Hey,
goes back,
calm
da,
down,
da, da, da. Yeah. He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool guy. So, Boston and then no New York, dog?
I don't think I could handle New York.
No?
Nah.
You already know my feelings on New York, dog. Fuck, I love that place. I want to
get
go in the
lost.
summer. I want to go.
Summer's like my least favorite time of New York.
Really?
It's so muggy.
I like the
Gross.
I like the humidity though. The humidity's nice.
Nah. Like there's no.
You don't have to shower. You just spray a little.
What do you mean you don't have to shower? You need to shower like every 2 minutes.
You just spray on some powder shampoo, and then you're good to go. You go the whole day,
Yeah.
just like Indiana. You haven't felt the Illinois humidity either, huh?
I probably felt something akin to it.
Yeah.
I think South
you-
Carolina probably is
yeah.
Alabama. I felt the Alabama humidity, and that is like
It's crazy.
I would say
huh?
that could be the worst in the country. The Alabama
You think?
humidity. I just can't think of even
I
New York.
still want to go to Florida, dog. I still want to go to Florida. That's one place where I want to see. Or you know
like
where else?
where in Florida? Miami, or some
I don't know.
retirement community.
No. Because I really want to go either gator hunting. I feel like that would be a cool experience. I just want to go hunting in general.
My granddad's college friend used to hunt gators.
Yeah, and I want to at least get a belt, dog. That's my new. I think that's
gator
my
belt?
new. I think that's my new hobby or my new. What do you call them? Something like my new collection is just belts, like different types of belts.
Yeah.
I got one from Seattle from real cows. I think my next one's Florida Gators. And then we'll do armadillos. And then we'll do...
I feel like there's some ethical concerns here.
Yeah,
but you're not too concerned with that.
But, I mean, what if they died of natural causes?
like,
How do you justify that?
what are natural causes? Like the fact that you were naturally shooting them.
Their time has come today. No, I'm just
as
playing.
you've decided.
No. But I don't know. I think gator hunting would be cool. Or if not, I know this one guy that he goes to campus here with us or goes to school with us. He does a lot of fishing and he's from Louisiana. That's another place I need to go.
Have you been to New Orleans?
No.
New Orleans is actually really cool.
Yeah?
I went there I think 2 times during growing up. And it was always really fun. Went there for a wedding, so I got to see like
Dude,
the big.
Now that we're
through the street
turning
march.
21, where is the place that you want to go?
Oh, like for probably Nashville.
Yeah?
Because when I went to Nashville, you got to see all the stuff, like all the party culture and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And
And would you go there
experience
mainly for the live music or for the whiskey?
probably both. I don't know. Yeah.
Are you a
both.
big whiskey
Oh,
guy?
but then Napa would be so cool.
Napa Valley?
Yeah, for the wine.
Are you a wine guy?
South Africa, maybe a wine.
Really? There's a big wine country out there?
Ton, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know
Because
that.
the French Huguenots, they ran away
Uh-huh.
and then settled in Cape Town. So they established this area called Franschhoek, which is like the wine area, and they actually like the Pinot Noir and the
They all come from
my
South
gosh,
Africa.
what's the other one? Well, they like crossbred the two, so it's not a blend.
Uh-huh.
But South Africa has this thing called Pinotage. It's like this their brand of wine. Like they only have it in South Africa.
And that's another thing that with a lot of liquors now, especially I found this out with champagne. You have the only way it can be called
The region,
champagne
yeah.
is if it's coming directly from Italy.
Then it's got to be MCC if it's not or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And the same thing with tequila. That's the only way it can be called tequila if it's coming out of Jalisco.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same
from
with
certain regions.
Brut,
which
I think.
I never
and-
thought that would be a thing, you know? I thought you just make it wherever you're from, use what you got, and it's the same thing. Slap it on. It tastes like alcohol.
Do you think it actually is a difference? Do you think champagne is above like some of the other MCCs or whatever?
I don't know, because champagne it's bubbly wine, right?
Mm.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if our grapes over here in the US, if we were to make it here in the US with our best grapes, I don't know if they compare. Cuz I've been to Mexico, like the produce tastes different. Everything tastes different, right? But I think it just be called a different thing. I think that's why they do it.
Could
in a
just be
sense.
marketing.
That
as well.
too. Cuz I was watching this really cool documentary about diamonds on Netflix, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's all about just where they come from and there's diamonds or whatever." And they do that with a lot of different things. It's us marketing. It's us, baby. I've been doing so much marketing lately with all the different things that I'm doing for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I feel like I can't like find joy in marketing.
Yeah, well,
ever.
it's not fun per se, but when you start seeing what it can produce, like once you start putting, you make a really decent graphic versus like a really crappy one,
Yeah.
it produces different results for sure. For sure. And you're like, oh, I guess this is kind of important. Mm-hmm.
I could see it as like a means to an end. Like if I have like take the podcast, if it's something you really care about,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is the best way to get people to see it, then yeah.
And
of course.
it really legitimizes your product.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you just go on Snapchat and you use that editor that's there, you know how you can edit pictures on there?
I'm afraid I'm not on Snapchat.
Oh, that's right. You're
enough
not on
to-
Snapchat. But if you do like a really crappy edit on your phone or whatever versus you using the computers that we have at DU, you'll see a complete difference,
Yeah, I love those computers.
Oh, they're so
It's-
nice. And
Premiere is
I was looking
Premiere
at
will break my
and-
computer.
and I was looking at this one guy that he actually went to my old high school with me, and I told him, dude, just focus on the audio. Focus on the audio. Don't worry about the graphics yet per se, but focus on the audio and the music that you put behind, your voice to make a podcast. And if you listen to the first one and the ones that he's producing now, oh, it's a world of a difference. And I'll shout him out. Top Chad's podcast. It's pretty cool. It's a lot about men's health and improvement, but I think he's got something. he's only like 18. You know, like he's got loads of years.
Top Chads, as in like the caricature.
The top Chad.
Top of
He's trying to be this
that domain.
self-fulfill himself.
Sure.
But I think it's good for the people that are his age, 18-year-olds in high school, don't have direction. I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. But again, that's his own thing. So, but no, yeah.
Audio is important. For sure.
Audio, definitely. And it sounds like he's getting the hang of more editing and kind of just doing his own thing. But what was I going to say? Oh, journalism. We're going to loop back into this. So since you already mentioned that you are a journalism major, this is the type of industry that which you want to get into. Who inspired that? Where did that come from? Because for me, never really thought I would be into journalism, but now that you're telling me, like, dude, this is journalism. Like, this is what we're doing right here. This is journalism.
Yeah. I and that's partially like the traditional, I guess, view of a journalist is like, expose like doing investigative reporting, stuff like that. But nowadays it's like so revolved around media and like having that like the multi-pronged approach,
and
audiovisual.
What I'm seeing with this is just kind of getting experience and hearing people's stories is the main target behind journalism.
Yeah,
which is what I didn't know I loved, but I definitely love now, because especially when I think about it, my family, for years and years the only time they've shared stories was at family parties, and when we listen to it, cousins, nephews, sons, whatever, daughters, they're the only ones that are going to be able to listen to those stories. So the hope is there's a huge family reunion coming up for my family. I'm going to try and bring all of my stuff with me and say, hey, you know what? Let's get you to see the stories that are here, and they'll forever be online,
Yeah.
So they're solidified, they're in an archive. But I don't know, that was my aha moment that I was like, oh, I'm kind of like journalism. I never knew I liked it. I never knew this is what it looked like, or this is. But was there that someone that kind of showed you?
I think it came from multiple areas. Probably Didion was one factor, and that's, I think, a love of long form storytelling is what drove me to it. Because I just love some of the, and of course that like everybody in that domain gets in trouble because it's like how much of that is the truth and how much of it is a little stretched so you could get that nice narrative. I know that like David Foster Wallace got in trouble for that for sure. He had so many essays that were like only kind of based in, I mean they were, but he just takes them in these fascinating directions to read, but kind of a stretch realistically.
But I mean, if you're writing an essay in a sense, because David, I don't know much about David Foster Wallace. What type of works would he produce? Was it mainly like his experience, or would he be more of the you would call like Hemingway, like, some of it's true, but it's like, I killed a lion and I went to all this, No,
it's marketed as his experience. I think even a better one to reference is Didion, and like the way that she says everything that happens, but like she's citing specific like quotes and stuff, and these things are not attributed and stuff like that, but she's saying it in a way that's so perfect and so well juxtaposed that it's like getting across this beautiful, like, I don't know, argument or something about like humans. So that stuff it was always like a major inspiration to me, and like that's kind of what got me interested in like where we're talking about the human element. But I don't know how true and stuff that tight packed like really, really meaningful writing
so then
is.
with your journalism, would you want to see more that you're producing entertainment or that you're producing a change?
That's always the question,
right?
You're entertainment producing versus even like truth.
Yeah, truth, right? Or reporting, I guess you would call it, right?
I don't know. It's very interesting, and it's hard to know. Half of the time it depends on like who you're producing it for. And like we had these journalists come into our class the other day, and they were like talking about the importance of being relevant, and like their CEO was emphasizing like, relevance over everything.
But relevance is super subjective.
Yeah, relevance is like completely
'Cause
based on what people want to see.
what's relevant to you is hella not relevant to me. You know,
Yeah.
like you do crossword puzzles on the New York Times, or you know.
But that has its niche. Like what he's saying that I find kind of worrisome is like what if like what is making people relevant is like kind of not it's obscuring the truth.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
truth would be the thing that make people want to like look away. It's like the meat industry or something like that. Like people don't really want to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you don't see like the
But it's organic. It's cage free. You know, like.
but is I don't know. It's like yeah. So that's always the question. Like entertainment versus the truth.
Because you got to get paid at the end of the day. That's another hard thing
Very
for
true.
journalists. Now that industry is, it's not a high paying. You know,
Yeah,
back then, you could live a really good life off of being a journalist.
We had another like a photographer come in and he talked about how the Denver Post used to have like 27 photographers on staff.
Yeah.
Now they have like 3 or something. I mean, I don't think it was that crazy. I think they probably have like
no,
8
but
or
I
something.
I bet it's something similar, because even the Denver Post, they used to have this huge. They used to be Rocky Mountain. I don't know, Rocky Mountain Post or Rocky Mountain, some other company, right? And then Denver Post bought that company, and they used to have this huge factory that even one of my uncles used to work at it. So this is like this huge. The Denver Post, the newspaper, used to be this huge industry here in Denver, and he would go every weekend. He'd wake up at 4 a.m, take his sons with him, and they'd go and deliver papers. So that's why I'm like, geez, now newspapers have, now that they're dwindling, they're killing it.
Yeah,
like,
it's a great
killing
time to
jobs.
go into the industry.
Oh yeah,
It's terrible. It's like we're in such a dangerous place, both like from the way the public's consuming it and the way we're making it. It's like both sides of the curtain are kind of
because now
warped.
we don't care about it like us. It used to be right, and I took this one class where, oh shit, we'll try and shorten it up, but it used to be this one class where they said that the Post or the newspapers used to be able to work for the people, right? They used to be the voice for the people. And the newspapers would be supported by the people. They'd pay money. They'd support them whatever way they could. And then now, once we start getting into this new age of newspapers, it's like now people don't really want to support them when they used to have our backs, you know, for history. You know, they used to report on the things that they needed to see change in X, Y, and Z. They used to be the voice for the people. And now the people don't even want to speak for the voice and support the newspapers, support the people that are doing the journalism, doing the interviews. Because now you guys are not only on a time crunch, you guys are on a having to be engaging, having to engage the public, making your news stories in a sense that are short, compact, and manageable for people to consume when there's TikTok, when there's Instagram, when there's all these other things that are competing for their attention, which is, it's such a crazy, you know, thing to think about
There's so many tangents that you could go on. I mean, like even the social media thing, the reason I like shy away from that, and it's like grouping in the profession, is because there's no way you can tell like an accurate story in like the time it takes to share or whatever. Like it's impossible. You know, the things are complex, and then people are gonna just get like, you know, the distrust is gonna go up, and everything is gonna
more and more
pile upon itself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It's in a weird place. Journalism, it needs a change. I don't know. And that's part of like, I'm looking into internships and stuff right now, and I don't know like who I would even work for that I could feel
really.
like really. I don't know, because.
But now that you see a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, do you think you could do this stuff on your own?
Yeah, I mean, freelance is very popular. It's just not a financially stable situation.
It's definitely not. But creating,
long-term.
I don't know, creating a sense where you've watched the All Breaks No Gas, Channel 4 News, stuff like that, right?
For news?
Yeah, but doing something similar like that.
All Gas No Breaks is such an interesting
And that's
little-
it's a niche of its own as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah. It's. I mean, did you see the movie that they released?
No.
It was very interesting, and it was like decent journalism.
Mm-hmm.
But in the video itself, it like talked about how like the guy's name I think is Andrew Callahan,
Uh-huh.
and he always picks these like zany individuals,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the most extroverted people you'll find, the people who are like going to protests, and then he picks the wildest one, screaming the loudest,
Yeah.
and interviews him, puts a mic in front of them, and they say like these wild things,
Yeah.
which are bound to draw clicks, bound to draw stuff. But even in the video, he talks about how, even in the movie, he talks about how, like by doing the type of journalism that he's doing, he's losing like all of the kind of quieter voices in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's making, I mean, he's showing
he's
how
pushing for the
polar
extremes, right?
some of America is, but he's also not showing how like most of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing to watch, just like
Yeah, and
as
I
a
think
different way to do it, kind
exactly,
of.
yeah.
But it also has its own dangers and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Which I
which
think,
he acknowledged. Like it was a
yeah.
really well put together movie, I thought.
Where's it on?
It's on the lead up to the January 6th protests.
Ah, okay, yes, I know exactly which movie you're talking about. Yeah. Now here's another
riots. The January
riot
6th
protest,
riots.
whatever the hell that was. That shit was crazy, dog.
Yeah.
It was wild. I remember that day I was working on my car, on my truck, I think, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" You know, like I had the Pandora radio, and it was like, "Oh, check your channel, something 9 News," because I don't buy the subscription, so I get ads on it. And they're like, "Oh, you can hear now. We're live coverage on this and that." And I was like, "Oh, damn, what the hell's going on?" And then my brother called me. He's like, "Yo, these people are crazy, dog, because Trump is out of office." I was like, "Whoa, damn." But okay, side story ended point blank. How long have you been doing the Clarion stuff? Because I've been asking a lot of journalism majors and people that have been working for the Clarion. They feel like there's a lot of people that say they're journalism majors but don't go into the Clarion. Do you think that's true?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
I wish every journalism major, if a journalism
It
major
should have been a requirement. I
mean,
feel like
it shouldn't be a requirement ever, but it's like it's so necessary. I mean, and maybe that's just because I'm in my little bubble and the Clarion is very important to me. But I just think it's like one of the best things you can do.
yeah, and it seems so fun. I think it's like
I
really
love it.
cool.
Yeah.
Every time you tell me like, "Hey, you know, you can do whatever you want. You can write about almost anything."
Yeah, I mean, we allow complete freedom, like, and it's such a good way. I mean, I've been trying to make as many connections as I can for our writers. I need to even do better, but like, yeah.
But how long have you been working with
since
it or
day one?
doing the Clarion since you landed here?
I met our former editor-in-chief, Kiana, like on a Zoom. I wouldn't even say met because I like saw her.
It was virtually.
And this was like pre even coming to this was before school happened. I was still like a graduating senior attending like a interest meeting, and I just knew I wanted to be part of it, of the school newspaper. And so and then I wrote a ton freshman year. That was what I would spend my Friday nights doing since we were locked in our dorm.
You know, the first couple articles, the first two, I think you wrote one about the mysterious pumpkin because it was like October time.
Don't bring up my satires.
No, but I mean, I was like, dang, this guy is pretty good at writing. Like, I really like his stuff. Yeah,
man,
I honestly. And then the other one, I don't remember what it was. I think it was about the COVID policy.
I'm not sure. I know I like the first three I wrote were like two satires and one on like orientation week and how it was kind of
that's
like
what it was, orientation week,
freshmen.
that it was disappointing, and I was like, dang, this is good, I like this. And then ever since then, after that quarter, I was like, hey, check out my boy is tight.
Thanks for the support.
No, I always gotta support.
I'm trying to get back into writing. I haven't written in a while, so I feel like a lot of my
because you've been doing what, co-editor, editor-in-chief, or?
I'm executive editor.
Damn, that's tight.
And it's so fun. I love like being a part of the leadership because now I'm the one like, again, making the connections. And like with the growing closer to the professors, I'm like trying to push that as far as it'll
Yeah.
go.
No,
I
yeah.
just want to. I want so much for our,
And they want to
our
see
writers
that
and
too.
stuff.
Because, well, you know, I'm doing this stuff with Divest EU. That's really what people want to see. It's like, oh, you know what? This guy's actually got something going on outside of just classes, you know? He
Yeah.
actually wants to do this
I'd
stuff.
say the Clarion motivates me much more than classes.
Oh,
Like it's probably like up there for sure on my probably number one priority. I mean I may as well say it. It's like
that's tight.
yeah.
That's tight. But yeah, I think we already have 100 or not 104, an hour and 4 minutes. Did it go by quick?
You could kick me off, whatever.
What else do you want to talk
It
about?
went by very quick. No, I think that's.
What do you
perfect.
want to bring up?
I have nothing. I enjoy this. I do.
Yeah, because now
It's
we
been
don't
fun.
see each other, dog. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I'm like, damn, I really do miss living in the same place because I could just talk shit to you whenever you get back, or you do the same to me, you know.
Yeah.
But no, we're growing up. We're going into new phases. Hopefully, we can go to New York again. Go visit Haley again. Shout out to Haley.
Shout out Haley.
She saved me from.
I'll send you this.
Yeah, definitely send her this. She wants to see the whole thing, and I wanna go experience New York fully, not just one night.
No, it was more than one night.
It was just one night.
You were there for one.
I was there for more, but
yeah.
with Haley,
Yeah,
just
true,
one night.
True.
Cause that's she's been there for a while,
Yeah.
you know. But no, that was a fun trip
Yeah. New York's a really cool place.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd love it.
to visit.
To
yeah.
visit.
Yeah, to visit for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still debating on if I should go.
I say go for it. I mean, it's going to be like a defining experience. It always is.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
like-
think everything has really. That's what I've been noticing with everything that's going on right now. I'm like, dude, I don't know how I make it out of things, but I make it out. And it's scary sometimes because I'm like, I really don't have control over the situation, but I'm gonna just keep moving forward. And thankfully I got to this point, but there's times where I'm like, that could have gone really bad, you know?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, we'll end this up.
Thank you for having me.
Big shout out
been
to my
fun.
boy, Aubrey. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was fun.
Journey says sail water ways, cause the moon and birth 7 days. So those and those are all things be. Some